Holocaust Memories Never Forget. Section 3, Edge of the Abyss. Part 7. From Kristallnacht, November 1938, until Germany invades Poland on the 1st of September 1939. Jews had been living in Germanic lands at least since the time of Charlemagne, 769 to 814 Common Era, and have faced varying levels of discrimination, including being attacked at will, segregated into specific geographical areas, having to wear distinctive clothing, and severe restrictions on ways they could earn a living. There were a host of issues that Jews of the diaspora faced after arriving in Europe, but there were several which especially made Jews pariahs and outcasts in most Christians' eyes and prime targets for pogroms and outright murder. Along with rejecting Christ as their Messiah, they were accused of causing him to be crucified. Another major reason for the hatred being directed toward them came from the fact that it was a sin for a Christian to collect interest on money loaned to a fellow believer, causing certain Jews to become deeply despised moneylenders who sometimes charged exorbitant interest rates to Christians. Those factors alone made life for Jews dangerous and uncertain, but the cumulative limitations placed on them by the Roman Catholic Church over the centuries made their lives even more tenuous. Although the German Empire didn't exist until 1871, the Germanic people have always clung fiercely to their shared heritage, history, language, and their deep-seated disdain for Jews, giving Hitler a solid foundation upon which to build his plans for the final solution. Despite the early success of the T4 program, which had been running for almost 2 years, some miscalculations were made which eventually forced Hitler to consider shutting it down. Because so many church-run facilities such as children's hospitals and psychiatric wards willingly handed over their patients to the SS, Hitler mistakenly believed that no religious leaders, Catholic or Protestant, would offer any significant resistance to the program. Another mistake was thinking that no German would be brave enough to speak up in public against the killings, knowing that they would almost certainly be executed for their efforts. Surprisingly, as more information about the program spread to the public, resistance increased. Eventually, some local government officials, doctors, and even members of the Nazi Party sent their complaints about the killings directly to the Reich Chancellery. On the 2nd of December 1940, Pope Pius XII issued a decree condemning the program, but Germany's highest Catholic leaders refused to do anything to back up the pontiff's statements. Unlike the Catholics, some Protestant clergy had been quite vocal in their displeasure with the program, but this garnered very little attention from the Nazis. In the late summer of 1941, however, the situation changed dramatically when the Catholic Bishop of Münster, Clemens August Graf von Galen, was moved to action following the arrest of some priests and the confiscation of church property to be used in building a new air raid shelter. Taking full advantage of these arrests, von Galen preached a series of sermons condemning the euthanasia program and demanding that the killings be stopped. Leaflets were also circulated within the general population laying out von Galen's list of objections, as well as excerpts from his sermons, which generated even more anger against the Third Reich's murderous policies. The pro-Hitler press naturally ignored the bishop, but he had the courage to send copies of his sermons directly to Hitler. Many high-level Nazis wanted to have von Galen and all the other protesting clergy arrested, but Hitler knew that this would only incense the people further. On the 24th of August 1941, as Germany's invasion of the Soviet Union entered its third month, the Führer announced the termination of the T4 program. Like so often in the past, however, this was just one more big deception in a long list of Hitler's deceitful practices. Nearly all of T4's personnel and equipment were sent to the Eastern Front to aid the SS, SD, Gestapo, and the Wehrmacht as they rounded up and quickly terminated as many Untermenschen as they could find, with Jews being at the top of their list.